You know, little does Matt know, podcast is no collaboration. It's always been a frickin' competition. And with this, my podcast serum that I've been working on for 9.95 years, I'm gonna speed past him 100-fold! Bottoms up, me. Oh man. Okay, well, I should be feeling the effects any moment now. Maybe. I don't feel any better podcasting. This is. I don't know anything about that. Damn. Oh.
All right.
Okay,
Let's do this.
What's the rhyme for this week? BuddyShots 161. Thank you, hon.
Let's have fun.
Yeah. Yeah! I like that.
Matt Week.
Yep. That's it. That's nothing else.
Goodbye.
There's nothing else, Matt. This isn't called anything else. It's Matt Week.
Space Cop Week.
Wait, what?
Dollman.
Matt Week. How'd you come up with that name?
With
Space Cop. How'd you come up with Matt?
I don't know. I just thought of it.
So you got your wish 3 weeks in a row. Fucking nobody.
0 points. Your goose egg. Nice. Keep it going.
We'll see about that.
Now it's on you to keep the streak alive.
I think we're fucked. I think what I'm about to pick.
You're like Barbenheimer.
I'm like... I've never seen either one of them, so I'm pretty sure nothing like that happens in either one of the films. What is this fucking... Barbenheimer?
The time Oppenheimer did the Hulu. While,
the Hulu? He's like, what a break from the ads.
By Hulu.
Boom! He's like, I'm creating...
Already off the rails.
Want a break from the ads?
All right.
So
I'm excited to get into talking about...
We got both of these here.
Yeah.
So we knew so little about these, or I did at least, that when you said it was Space Cop Week and you were unsure if Dollman was even a cop thing, I was like, okay, well the SpacePrecinct one is, but
yeah,
I hadn't even looked into it until I had started watching the movie. I was like, oh, okay.
Well, I had never seen either, so
Yeah.
It was a roll of the dice.
That's true. The classic full moon film in high definition. So where'd you get that? Full Moon Pictures or whatever?
Yeah. Not much extra features on the disc, unfortunately. It was mainly just like ads for other full moon stuff.
Yeah. That's another one. We don't really talk about them too much because they're kind of like a smaller one, I think, right? But
and I think after the early 90s, they got into like more sleazy stuff that I really don't care, like Evil Bong. And
yeah. It's kind of like the stuff that, like I like Troma, but like some of the stuff they do.
Yeah. But should we start with SpacePrecinct?
Yes.
2040.
Which is weird because it doesn't take place in 2040. I read that on the Wikipedia
really?
or like on IMDb where it was like, it's a common misconception that it takes place in that. That's the guy's badge number.
Oh,
Which
I didn't realize.
I guess they did that, and then like it was like, I mean, not like it really affected. It's not like I was watching and be like, oh, 2040, but it's also like 2040 isn't too far away from where we are now, so there's no way in hell this takes place in 2040.
We're about
Well,
to
I mean, in our realistic. So this show, I guess before we get too far in, how did you hear about this one?
Well, I heard about Dollman, just people talking about it over the years.
Yeah,
I think Patrick on F This Movie wrote a review of it way back in the day. So it was kind of been on my radar, but I've never seen it.
Who is he?
Do you know him?
No.
And then SpacePrecinct, I don't even have a clue how this ended up on the list. It just...
This was maybe you were looking for stuff to go together, maybe? Or?
Yeah, or maybe I was looking at like weird sci-fi shows from the 90s or just, because I'd really never heard of it, so.
But I wanted to see it for years and years. Yeah.
And I'm assuming had you heard of either one of these?
Maybe like Dollman, because we go to a lot of like horror conventions. I mean, not like a ton, but like
probably seen the poster.
Or like when we're
DVD
walking through, Full Moon Pictures will be there or something. And it's like Dollman, or like, because I remember last week I was talking about like, isn't there a movie where it's like Dollman and like the
Puppet Master?
Yeah, but it's Dollman versus Demonic Toys or whatever, which is all under that same thing, because Puppet Master, they have a Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys kind of thing too, so it's like, wait a minute. But having said that, yeah, that's kind of, I mean, you know, you see all this kind of stuff. In glancing, you're not like, oh man, that's what, you know, is next up. But, yeah, that's pretty much, and SpacePrecinct, I had never even heard of this show,
well,
like at all.
I'm hoping, if nothing else, it'll be fun to talk about.
Well, let's find out right now.
Go! Us?
I'm like, SpacePrecinct. I'm just gonna throw my notes like really quick. I'm like, okay, let's go on to the fucking next movie.
Did you, by any chance, note who the two lead actors were?
I think I didn't write it down, but like they looked familiar.
It's Ted Shackelford and Rob Youngblood.
Had they been anything we watched on the podcast?
I don't think so.
Oh, it was just that joke. Okay, I was like, sorry, I was expecting you to be like...
They were in something, but I just wanted to say Youngblood.
I'm like, you want to talk about Youngblood?
And that's really my only criticism of the show, is I thought the two leads were like Blandsville, USA. Or Blandsville, England, I guess.
Even though they were... it was shot there, but like these guys were American, right?
I don't know.
Nobody knows.
They were American.
I will have to say that, you know, yeah, like you were talking about with that relationship, or like those actors or whatever, but I actually liked the relationship between like the officer, like the Jane Castle, and Took that got sick or whatever. Like right off the bat, they already established like a better relationship between those two.
I agree.
I also like the relationship between like the one main guy and his family. Like it's kind of reminded me of like, what's it called, like Outlast or Outland or whatever.
Yeah, Outland.
Where it's like he, or like Miles O'Brien, where like he has a family, and I always like that. I'm not a huge fan of like when everybody on the show is like a single, like, because they have no attachment to anything. Like that's why I like Family Matters, because any time you're like, oh, Carl could get really hurt or something,
and he frequently does.
Yeah, but I mean like because he's a cop, and like. I like that extra added bit of like, you know, his family cares for him, and like he's juggling maybe like never coming home and stuff. The like his friend, the wingman, was just kind of just like he was the generic chauvinist kind of jerk. But I feel like towards the end of the episode, you kind of see that maybe he's not. All that, but it's like
maybe it got better over the course of the season.
I heard that like because I went online and stuff, and I heard that I wasn't like but like people were saying like just get past the first 2 episodes and like it gets really good and stuff.
I'm not surprised.
And like the first episode wasn't necessarily bad.
I agree. It was pretty good.
There was just like kind of at the beginning, if you just turned it on and you were watching from the beginning and you weren't like, I'm watching this for like a podcast or watching, you know, like for an not assignment, but you know what I mean? It like that kind of a thing. Then it's like, you know, I could see someone being like, okay, next.
Yeah.
But I think once you get into like halfway this episode, it actually starts to really pick up.
Did you know this was the most expensive show ever made in England at the time?
It's not shocking because you
can tell.
They use like, it's kind of like dinosaurs, like Jim Henson's dinosaur show, where like they have actors under prosthetics and stuff. It's not like Star Trek where they have actors and then they just put like Klingons where they have ridges, and that's pretty much it. I mean, they do other makeup stuff, but it's like this is literally they're like
full animatronic.
Yeah, their heads
creatures.
are completely different and stuff like that, which is legit because they have like a what's it called, a psycho or not psycho, a what's it called, telepathic or whatever character that's a alien that can use like mind powers and stuff like that, and they get like the zircon flu or Zyron fever or something like that at the beginning. I'll probably end up watching more of this show, give it more of a chance, because I feel like if the show was made now and they use these same effects, it would be like a huge hit. Yeah. Because it's like...
It looked awesome. The model work was like, you could tell,
it was very much,
cool.
Yeah, it was very much like, reminded me of like Corbin or something like that, where it's like, or like, you know, the model work like RoboJocks, where it's like good, but it's also like you can tell that some of the stuff is like definitely a model.
Right.
But like...
There's still something cool about seeing that, though.
Right. But it's like, I think with like the technology they have now, if they were to totally bring something like this back, it would be like a huge hit. Because everybody... You watch shows where like there's this one character that's just a little bit different, or a character that's like, you know, not a human, and people are all over it. So it's like Worf is like some people's favorite character, even though he's constantly getting his ass beat.
Failing at his job over and over again.
And telling people he gets shot in the leg and is like, leave me. So yeah.
You've literally went through like millions of adventures and like met the Klingon Jesus.
That, and he went like, he got like his back broken and was like gonna, well, that's not a good example because he was gonna commit suicide. He was gonna have Riker kill him. It's like, Jesus.
But no, one random pot shot was gonna end this.
I think honestly the best thing for Worf would have been to never find out who his who his real origins were, because once he started getting influence from other Klingons, he started to be like, oh, I gotta be like a real Klingon, and he started doing stupid shit like, I gotta kill myself. And it's like, dude. Anyway, well, yeah, I really like this, the idea of this show and stuff, and I didn't, I wasn't watching it and being like, because it's essentially like a police procedural, but like, it takes place in space. There's some interesting stuff. You're under the impression that like they must have just transferred here because like they're eating dinner and like the mom's trying to cook new stuff and she cooks like these tentacles and like nobody wants to eat them.
That was gross. Did you see who played Slick Ostrowski, the guy who died?
Who died in like the first 5 seconds of the film.
Burt Kwok, who played Kato in the Pink Panther movies.
Oh, nice. I haven't seen those. The originals.
Oh, they're good.
I've seen the sequels. Or not the sequels, the ones with Steve.
He's hilarious in those. Go lay down.
Have you seen the newer version?
I haven't.
Oh, really?
I've seen the olds. You've seen the news. Between the two of us.
I have the old Pink Panther movies. I just never
They're
watched
good,
them.
dude. Really good.
I really liked the new ones. I think probably a lot of people that watch the originals probably like, that's bullshit, but...
I'll have to check them out.
Jean Reno is funny in them.
Nice.
Yeah, she's got a little lip. She's like, ooh. You want to try some of this pop? She's like,
go lay down, Gloria.
She's got Fonzie breath. The slow pull.
Pull and stretch.
The guy, one dude says, one of the cops says, I blame the parents. Yeah, should have drowned him at birth. I was like,
that's harsh.
Good lord. Because the whole plot of this first episode is that, like, this mob guy or whatever he is, I don't know, he kills this one dude and, like, somebody sees him commit the murder, and then he's under, like, protective custody, and the guy is, like, this, like, he's kind of like he's kind of like a frog guy, but he's kind of not. He's, like, an alien. But like
they basically have to protect a key witness, Lethal Weapon 2 style,
right? And the other side, there's a couple other side plots where like right off the bat, the first in the first episode, like the two women that are paired together, like the telepathic alien gets like sick and she's in the hospital or whatever, and they're not sure if she's gonna live, but she ends up like pulling through. And then the other plot is that there's these two dudes that literally don't do any work, and they try to get like these basketball or Super Bowl tickets by winning this computer game, and they cheat by having an actual like robot do all the work. And then at the end of the episode, the boss is like, you know, where's the work you've been doing? And it's literally they've been stealing company time for like a week. And so he takes their tickets they won and gives it to the main guy so he can take his son, which I thought was kind of nice.
It was a nice ending to a nice episode.
But at first I was like, man, that's kind of bullshit. But then I was like, wait, no, it's not. They literally stole company time. I mean, not like I'm like a company man, but I'm like, they literally went to work, didn't do anything when people were probably dying and needing their help, and they did jack shit for like a week.
They're the true villains.
Right, and when fucking they were like, took us fine, they were like, whatever, we're winning this game. I was like, Jesus. But
I could have done without that subplot, honestly.
Yeah.
But
it served an end, but it wasn't like my favorite thing.
I really liked the main dude's house. It was like so 90s, yet like it was a 90s version of futuristic.
Yeah, they were kind of talking about how like they live in like a box because like they get like allocated housing, it seems like. Mm-hmm. So yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
There was a kind of a cool stunt here at the end when like the dude gets convicted and he knocks out his lawyer and he does like a back fucking flip over the railing. Yeah, like the lawyer. Awesome. I was like, good lord.
We've watched a bunch of like random sci-fi shows over the years, and I think this is like top tier.
Yeah, this is probably one of the better ones for sure.
It was just fun and entertaining.
It kind of sucks that it's literally just did like the one season and then that was kind of it, because I feel like if this, like I said, if this had come out, you know, if they did something like this now and like the writing was good, then like it would be like probably like one of the most popular shows on TV or just on whatever service it's on, because I think that's like definitely something that, you know, because there are shows out there that are like really good that people are interested in, like long what's it called, not Longhorn, fucking that show your mom watches.
Oh, Yellowstone?
Yeah, like Yellowstone, or like, you know, just a bunch of shows, and they've come out, but it's like I think people are screaming for a good like sci-fi kind of like show, because Star Wars has kind of gone by the wayside and stuff.
Yeah,
with the writing at least, like
having some cool animatronic creatures.
Right, yeah, and it's like just down to earth enough to like make you be interested, because Star Wars at heart is like a western or fantasy, and this is like sci-fi, true sci-fi, but grounded with like a police procedural. It's like the whole time I was watching this is like, man, this is kind of like, you know, if they had like a Columbo show in space, that would be fucking, you know.
Yeah.
So get to working on it, guys. Columbo in space. His partner is Ernest.
Get it on our desk.
Everybody's like, who the fuck is Ernest or Columbo? Yeah. Then again, I'm pretty sure our target audience is not like young enough to not know.
You mean the show's not on TikTok?
Yeah. Well, it is technically, but
that's true.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was a good pick.
Nice.
Not just a good pick, a good pick.
I'm like,
you're like, I made this. I was trying to look at the.
I totally redeemed myself for all the crappy shows that made us watch. Or did I?
I'm like, you're still gonna be paying that off. We're both in buddy hell. Or buddy bondage.
Buddy yeah.
Buddy bondage. I got like a. Never mind. Do you have anything else to say?
No, I'm excited.
Okay,
to move on
silence for the rest of the podcast.
Like,
you're like, when people are like, and I'm like, wait, how do you swallow the key if your mouth is locked?
I'm like, just put a gag on me.
Rubber ball in my mouth. Like, bring out the gimp. It's like, Jesus. That movie scarred me. But I won't say why.
You know what movie scarred me? Dollman.
I doubt that.
So yeah, Dollman. Let's get into it. Starring Tim Thomerson as Brick Bardot.
Yes.
And Jackie Earle Haley as Braxton Red.
Is like put as my first note, or like one of my notes, Brick Brickerson, and I was like, wait, I don't think that's right.
Tim Thomerson.
Yeah. That time you were like, he's been in a lot of stuff, and then I looked and I was like, he's been in like 2 Dollman movies and like 1 billion Scanner films or whatever.
Trancers.
He's kind of a big full moon guy. He's like,
yeah, they're all. So on this disc, there were previews for all 5 Trancers movies.
Yeah,
and I watched them all. And I was like, whoa.
Like the previews or whatever, the trailers. Yeah,
but he stars in all 5.
Yeah, I was actually kind of shocked because that's kind of a unprecedented thing is to have like, what the hell are the special features? It doesn't even say on the back.
Nice.
That's kind of unprecedented to be like, have your main guy in a film go on to like be in all of them.
Yeah, especially movies like these, like low budget direct to video.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah. I mean, it's funny because like sometimes like when we watched Darkman, it was like the first one was Liam Neeson, and then the sequels were the guy from the Mummy movies or whatever. So it's like, but I guess if it had been like the first movie was high budget and then the sequels were low budget, but I'm pretty sure that they probably had around maybe the same budget, if not maybe more for some of those movies. But depending on how well they did, I don't know. I don't know too much about the movies.
Yeah, I'm just learning about Full Moon as we go. But Dollman, it came out in 91, straight to video, and at least for me, back in the day, like direct to video movies had like a stigma to them. I was like, oh, those aren't worthy of real movies.
For the most part, for me, the only ones I watched that were like straight to video that I actually kind of enjoyed was like the Disney ones when they started doing the sequels.
Yeah,
most of them were kind of crap, but like they had a couple that were actually pretty good.
Nice. But I was wrong for thinking that, because lots of direct to video stuff is awesome. I'm not going to say Dollman is like the greatest movie ever, but I had a lot of fun with it for sure. And
I'm not going to say Dollman is awesome. It's a quote of the century. You said that. That's funny. I thought it was, I enjoyed it as well. Yeah, I didn't have any like issues watching this film at all, and which is like, I mean, I'm starting off, that doesn't sound like high praise, but like there's definitely
I didn't have any issues.
But
Waves Mike.
But like when you watch a film of this possible caliber, sometimes the best you can hope for is to just not be bored or annoyed by the film, because it's like,
exactly,
this is essentially shot on Shitio, so you're like, okay, how is this gonna be? You know what I mean? Like, but it's not like, Devil Doll or some bullshit where I'm like, oh my god, dude, this is like somebody fucking shot this on their camcorder. This had some stuff behind it, some effects, and like the I think like if the character had been weak, like the main character Brick, it would have been like not great. But thank God he wasn't, in my eyes at least. I thought he was pretty.
I thought he was great.
Good.
He was cracking me up the whole time.
Yeah, he's kind of like a Clint Eastwood, Duke Nukem kind of character.
Basically Dirty Harry.
Right.
But I think I love the premise of this movie. Basically, he's an alien cop.
Yeah.
And he comes to Earth, and turns out he's like 1/6 the size of humans.
Well, he gets shrunk. He's not normally 1/6 the size of humans.
No. That's his size, but it's all relative. So when he comes to Earth, his normal size is the size of a doll to us.
Well, no, they get shrunk. Yeah, they do.
Really?
Yeah. They go through that little warp thing.
Yeah, well, they warped, but I don't...
But it says, like, shrinking during that scene.
I thought it said, when he landed on Earth, the computer's like, you are now 1/6 the size of Earth proportions.
I don't know. I assumed, like, when they were talking about the warp, that, like, when they went through that Phantom Zone thing, that it, like, made them shrink or whatever.
Oh, maybe it did.
I don't know. I guess we'll have to look into it, because, like, one of us thinks not, and the other one thinks
Ultimately, it doesn't matter, because he's the size of a doll.
Yeah.
And that's the premise of the movie. And I
always thought, when I watched it, I was just like, it's interesting that, because his gun can, like, fucking, earlier in the movie, you see it just blows people up instantly with one shot.
That was my favorite part of this whole movie.
But, like, when he shoots it at normal-sized people, it just, like, fucks them up.
That was brilliant, because that's, like, a way that he can still be dangerous in our world as a doll. I
was a little disappointed that it didn't still blow people up.
I know, because that first time it happens, I was like, woo!
Yeah.
That was hilarious, dude.
That was my biggest, I think, complaint, is that, like, it didn't just blow people up.
But it makes sense in the story,
It does, but it's kind of disappointing. Yeah. Like, it's like you get to see good shit and then they take it away. It's like, cool.
So that's the other biggest complaint I have in this movie. Like, so that premise is great, but he spends most of this movie, like, hanging out on someone's kitchen counter.
Yeah, nothing really happens in this film.
I know. So little
Which
happens.
kind of sucks. No pun intended.
But for a movie where the credits roll in an hour and 14 minutes, there's enough.
The problem is, though, that, like, for it being that short, they pad the fuck out of it.
No, it's crazy.
So it's barely even a film.
It really is. But there's enough to like in it, I think.
Right, yeah. I mean, it's... like, the more I'm talking about this, the more I'm pissed off. So, like, yeah, like you said, they start off and he's, like a cop or whatever, and...
This opening scene I thought was pretty great.
Yeah, he's pretty much like a... like you said, he's like Dirty Harry or like a Duke Nukem kind of Clint Eastwood deal where he's like... Or like from Lethal Weapon, Mel Gibson, where he's just like, he doesn't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm. He's
like,
a loose cannon.
Yeah, this dude's gonna kill like a bunch of like ladies, and then he's like, I'm gonna fucking, you know, kill them or whatever, and then he fucking like... he puts the gun to his fucking like head essentially, and he's like, I don't give a fuck if you know, kill any of these people, because I'm gonna shoot her and then we'll get through her and then kill you and then kill the person behind him. And I was like, Jesus. And then he gets crushed, and I was like, good lord.
What was the deal with all the fat shaming that was going on?
Yeah,
that was so weird.
I was kind of pissed at the beginning of this film, because I was like, he calls like, he's like, this kid says like, thanks for saving my like mom, and he's just like, thank you, or he's like, you're welcome, fat boy, or something. And I was like,
yeah, I was cracking up, but I didn't understand what was happening.
I hated this movie at the beginning, because I was like, this is so mean-spirited.
It is.
But then it like never comes up again. Like, as soon as it's like, once he's humbled and is like a little bitch boy, like a little doll man, he like sees that, oh shit, maybe it's not good to be an asshole to other people. Because they could literally pick him up if they wanted to and fucking crush him.
Did you notice who played the villain at the beginning?
Yeah.
Frank Doubleday from Escape from New York.
Yep.
That guy scared the hell out of me in that movie. I'll never forget his face. You want to see his IMDb picture? This is ridiculous. I'm like, dude. He's like,
is that necessary? He looks like a fucking zombie vampire, man. But like...
what was his... Yeah, he played Romero in Escape from New York.
The funniest part about this in the beginning, like once I really started to like this film for the first time, was when they get into like, he gets drugged or like knocked out, and they bring him to like this, which is, you see this a lot in the film, industrial like construction sites, because it was like free. I'm sure they were filming there and then they just ran away. They probably didn't have a permit.
Abandoned construction site.
But like like this guy that he like has met many times and blew off his arms and legs and all this other stuff, and he's just a floating head. And it's like they're staring each other down, and at first I was like, is something gonna happen? Because like for like a minute, like they just have like a wide shot, and I'm like, the fuck is happening here? But then he like blows up 3 dudes with this gun.
That was amazing.
And when he like blows up one guy's like, the guy's like, ah. And then he like, but it's weird because 2 of the guys blow up and are instantly killed, and one of the dudes he shoots and the guy lives for a bit. And I was like, eh.
That was gross.
I was like, holy fuck.
But one thing I want to say before that happened, like, for me, when I started this movie, I was like, uh-oh. But his first line, TimThomerson, I knew we were in good hands, because they're like, he's going into the laundromat, and they're like, what are you going to do? And he's like, I'm going to use hot water for my whites. I was like, okay, this is full on silly
I thought
mode.
that he was maybe like, something was wrong with him because he said that, and I didn't understand what the fuck he was talking about. And even the guy in the movie was like, what? And I didn't know he was going into a laundromat, so I was like, huh? It's like,
but then there's the classic scene where like the Sarge is yelling at him like, you're out of control, and he's like, take off the sunglasses, it's night.
Yeah.
That cracked me up.
But he was doing his laundry in there, and then just, which I don't even understand. It's like, why did he even have to do that? Because he just walked over to the guy and threatened to kill everyone anyway. So it was like, huh? Like, makes sense. But it was, oh, yeah, I don't understand why. Coming back to that, I don't understand why like there was so much fat shaming at the beginning.
Yeah, it was so weird, and it did not pay off, like you said, at all. It was just being mean.
It was kind of fucked
sake
up.
of it.
Because I think even the cops were like talking that way too, and I was like,
why?
Huh?
Maybe there was something cut out that explained what was happening.
My interest. Yeah, I like the blowing up part was so cool. I wish there was just more of that later in the film. But I feel like the action, like when it actually happens, was pretty good for like the shooting and stuff. They're at a total disadvantage because they're trying to shoot like a fucking tiny thing, and he's got like, you know, huge targets, which I'm kind of surprised he wasn't able to hit them more often. Like, he does hit people, but there's a part where he's shooting at people and he's completely missing for a long time, and I'm like, ugh. The whole reason he comes to Earth is because he's chasing this guy with only the head left to kind of stop him, because he has like this neutron bomb or whatever it is, and he's just like, he chases him and they go through this like thing and go to Earth, and of course the bad guys find the bad guy and the good guys find the good guy. And he's
Instantly.
he saves this like one lady from being like fucking immolated. Like, they're gonna light her on fire, and one guy, when he grabs her, he says like bitch like 50 times. I was like, the fucking Arkham games or something? Jesus. Did you ever play those games?
Yeah.
It was like, Jesus, this fucking bitch.
He was this guy, Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, I'm like, good lord, dude.
But I was really enjoyed, like, when he first comes to Earth, there's like that montage of the Bronx or whatever. And
that music.
The music was great, but then randomly there's just like guys robbing a liquor store, and
yeah.
they shoot the clerk, and they showed the same shot 3 times. Did you notice that? I was like, is that really necessary? But it was
also,
funny.
like, randomly they're showing, like you said, they're showing the Bronx, and then randomly there's just a dog that's like, and I was like, okay.
I was into it.
The Bronx was known for dogs.
And rumbles.
Yeah. The music was definitely, like, good to a degree, but then I was just like, okay, must have been done on a Casio keyboard or something. Like, the music was like,
yeah, I was thinking like
the demo mode on a keyboard.
But I was also thinking, like, why didn't Spunkadelic have a song on this soundtrack? You know, so it would have been so appropriate.
Would have tanked their careers. It's like, wait, what? I'm like, it would have been expensive. I did like how essentially the first thing he does when he gets to a new place is he like tries to like stop crime.
Yeah.
So it's like he just kills the fuck out of like a dude. And it's just like, because they were gonna
picks up right where he left off.
Light this lady on fire, and then some dude leaves and he's yelling "fuckers!" I'm like, fucking AVGN leaving the scene of the crime.
Gratuitous profanity and violence in this movie.
Oh my god,
Can't
dude.
go wrong.
This is one of the lines I wrote down. He said that was pretty funny. When he lands and he looks around and he sees the lady, he's like, "Shit, place is full of giants. I hate giants."
Good stuff.
And I was just like, nice. It's all right.
I'm glad they leaned into the comedy, because like it's an inherently funny premise.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, like, man, I wish this had a massive budget and like James Cameron directed it, but then I don't think it, like, the low budget like crappiness of it kind of adds to the humor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when he's hanging out of the car.
Yeah.
And it's literally just a doll hanging onto the car. That was funny.
I'm also
like
not
that.
looking to spend like 3 hours in a fucking movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Pissing my pants.
And why is Dollman underwater the whole time?
Yeah. We had to perfect the doll technology for 10 years to put the audience to sleep.
We should say this was directed by Albert Pune, who he's made.
You're like, but we won't.
Pune made a movie about a puny man.
That's true.
He sadly passed away last year, but he's made some other movies I really like, including Cyborg. with
Dang, how
Jean-Claude
old
Van
was he?
Damme.
Like, how long's he been doing it for?
He made a ton of movies. He was 70, but I think he fell upon some hard times the last few years, so shout out to Albert
That sucks.
Pune.
I bet if like he had gone to conventions, he probably would have been like totally like
Yeah.
people would have been like, kissing his ass.
I think he was known for always making the most of a super small budget, which I would say he succeeded in Dollman.
Especially the scenes where it's literally just people walking around doing nothing.
In someone's kitchen.
Yeah.
I didn't expect like half this movie to take place in a kitchen.
Half this movie is like literally you're hanging out in the projects. It's like, and like nothing's happening. which is
or you're hanging out with the villains. That's like
nothing's happening.
exactly.
They're talking about what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Like, if Dollman and the other guy weren't in this film, this would literally just be like a, like
an after school
Stand
special.
By Me or Do the Right Thing, like fucking like. It's just as good. I did have a note that says he's become the source of ridicule, like he did to the overweight lad earlier. He's humbled.
Yeah.
So I was kind of shocked by this. The one dude, like the bad guy, like tells him he has a bomb and all this stuff, and he like is like helps the guy that got shot to like be okay or whatever for a bit. Like he cauterizes the wound to a degree, and then he's like, "Now you're working for me," and they just kill him. Which I was like expecting him to be like comes back at some point. I did not expect the villain of the film. I guess he's not the villain, but he kind of it's like subverted me that I thought that he was going to be like, through the whole film
right.
He gets crushed like pretty early, and then it's like, oh, okay, well,
yeah, that was totally
done.
Unexpected. I was like, whoa, okay, that's
he says,
disgusting.
Fuck you. They like kill him, and I'm like,
guess it makes sense that someone got munched.
Yep. He didn't have the same kind of like weapon technology, I guess Dollman did, or maybe he wasn't expecting to be fucking murdered.
Yeah.
You were thinking? Oh, go ahead.
What did you think of Jackie Earl Haley as Braxton Red, the main bad guy?
Who is he?
The dude with the long hair, like the gang leader.
Oh, the guy that like is bleeding, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, he's kind of like fucked up for most of this film. Like he gets shot, and then he's kind of just like,
yeah.
Like from that point forward, he looks like he had like fucking White Castle. He's like having the meat sweats for fucking 40 minutes.
It's funny you said that because like there's a little behind the scenes thing. I sent you that clip, but it was him and he's got like the blood all over him.
Yeah.
Like, man, the craft service here is horrible. I was like, that guy must be funny to hang out with.
Yeah. He plays a character that's more serious to a degree, and he's like, he's in charge of the gang, which it's kind of weird because like while I was watching it, I was always expecting like another person to show up and be the head, because not knocking on him, I just thought that like his character didn't seem like the kind of character they would normally put in that like he's the lead of the gang kind of thing.
He's just kind of a scumbag.
Right, yeah. Yeah, he kind of seems like just another dude, not like the main guy.
Yeah.
But I didn't think he was bad or anything.
Yeah, I thought he was fine. I thought he was good.
But yeah, it was just weird because usually they have someone that's a lot more like intimidating, or because it was weird because in this film, like he's kind of like reining his guys in to not like do fucked up shit.
Yeah.
Because it seems like he's got like something for this lady or whatever, like or maybe like they used to live in the neighborhood together and he's trying to like make it so she doesn't get screwed over or something. So he's not like an all bad person, but he kind of is. So yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Maybe I'm reading more into. I thought it was kind of weird how she like works at a toxic waste plant, but the only thing they're wearing is fucking masks.
Yeah, these guys are all dead of cancer.
I was like, what? Like they're wearing like the kind of stuff you would wear to prepare like, work in a like craft factory or something. Yeah. Not like they're not wearing like isotope fucking suits or anything. Yeah. It's like, wait a minute. Because you hear the sound effects go off in the background of like the Geiger counters and shit.
It's like these guys are fucking tumor central.
Yeah, I'm just like, wait a minute. What'd you think when you saw that? Were you like, huh?
I just thought it's like,
it's pretty cliche for the time,
yeah,
but it was
totally.
Also weird that like they didn't really even have a spot you would think toxic waste would be. It was like they were in a meat packing factory or something. I was like, what?
They took a beef.
What pistachio?
But probably my other favorite part of this movie was where he blows away the gang in the kitchen. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was legit.
It's like, this doll is 13 inches with an attitude.
I was like... He jumped out the window. I thought that was funny.
No, that was great.
They just literally threw a doll.
That was great. I mean, that's really why you should see this movie, is to see,
this is like
silly...
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, but like violent.
Right. Exactly.
Bardo threatens a rat and it understands and runs away. I was like, he's like, don't mess with me. And the rat was like, it's like ran off. I was like, oh.
Got it, Brick.
So the only other thing I wrote down here as far as lines go, you know what I'm going to say here? So when they go, I don't know if you have anything notes about before this, but like when he goes to like get her back and he's kind of surveying the area and hanging out, there's a conversation that's, I'm pretty sure 80 into this film that is probably, this puts like AVGN to shame. And I quote, "What the fuck are we fucking waiting for? I mean, fuck this shit. Fuck, man. The fucking setup is fucked up. That little fucker knows what kind of fucking shit is fucking waiting here to fuck him up. So let's get the fuck out of this fucking, instead of waiting for this tiny little motherfucker." Somebody says, "Has fucking anybody seen any fucking thing yet?" The guy says, "No." He says, "Fuck it." I went, huh? This took me like 5 minutes to get all this down because it was like every other word was fucking. I was like,
that cracked me up.
I put pure poetry.
It is.
This was literally like somebody was just going off. There's no way this was a script.
Oh, yeah. It's like someone wasn't paying attention.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck are we fucking waiting for? I mean, fuck this shit. Fuck, man. This fucking setup is fucked up. The little fucker, it's like... I was like, are you going to say anything? Or is it just going to be you saying fuck every 5 seconds? But I was cracking up because it's like I was watching it and, you know, at that point in the film, I was kind of waiting for something to happen because there was kind of a lull in the action. And I was like... And then that came up and I was like, excuse me? Like, what the hell is he talking about?
Yeah.
He said a bunch of nothing.
That was hilarious. My last note is Dollman takes an arm. What do you think about that?
He said, "Oh, my fucking arm!
He took my
fucking arm!" Yeah, I put you sack of pus blows the dude's arm off.
That was awesome.
He blows up the van. Somebody on the mic, like they have walkie-talkies, and they say, "What the fuck is going on up there?" And he says, "Urban fucking renewal." I was like,
next.
The bomb goes off and they make it out.
Mm-hmm.
Which I was like, okay, did the bomb have like a smaller timer than the guy said? Because he said, you press this button and like this will alter reality, and it literally was like, it's like even if the bomb was smaller, it still would have done more damage than that if it's supposed to alter reality. Like, yeah. What? Maybe that guy was just full of shit. Tell me, Debbie, size doesn't count. And then the music video showing the movie you just watched fucking plays. I was like, pad the runtime.
Exactly.
It was like, fucking, I was like, nice. I do like that though. Like,
that was cool. I
like when the credits and the intro have something. Mm-hmm. The credits did. The intro was kind of like just whatever, but I wasn't like, fuck this. But yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, we just described all the weird, crazy stuff that happens in this movie, but it's somehow also boring, which like, so I can't like fully recommend it.
Yeah, it's weird because it's like one of those things where it's like I just talked about how like, you know, you don't want to watch a film that's boring and stuff like that, and it's kind of like 50% of this movie fits into that category. Yeah. Which
is so much like filler and like waiting. It's like, do something.
But it's like waiting for what? You know what I mean? Because sometimes just nothing has been said that's going to happen. It's like, I think that the problem is if you would have like cut this film down to just all the actual action and stuff, this would have been like a 30-minute fucking thing. It would have been like a short. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say TimThomerson was good. Like he was very entertaining to watch. Like, he did a great job as Dollman. And the action was cool, and there was some funny stuff. So, my next pick is Dollman versus Demonic Toys. Not really.
I was actually kind of surprised you didn't pick that.
I probably should have, because I don't think.
Well, I saw that and I was like, I wonder why I didn't do both.
Because I didn't know it existed. But
you didn't do your homework.
Didn't do my due diligence.
You didn't do your Dollman. It's like, wait, what? Yeah, I feel like they could have padded this in better ways instead of just literally having... Because they had, like, that set, and they had, like, Like, they could have had him do stuff on the front end as a police officer, you know, before getting to this. That, I mean, I don't know. I guess you run the risk of, like, people kind of getting bored and be like, when is he going to come to Earth? But, like, the kind of stuff they were doing on Earth was not worthy of watching most of the time. It was like, I mean, there's a different, I mean, I say it's like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids with violence, but, like, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids is 100 times more entertaining than this because...
Oh, yeah, they go from adventure to adventure.
Right. There's, like, stuff going on. There's, like... That's another thing that never happens. There's no interaction with, like... I mean, there's 2 interactions with animals. A roach and a fucking rat. But, like, there's no, like, bees or anything that really show up or flies or... You would expect a spider, especially in a movie like this, to show up. But, like, there's not even, like... I don't think even, like, a dog or anything or, like, a cat. It's, like, okay, there are no... Like, they show a dog at the beginning of the film, but it just...
Yeah, I mean, the potential is limitless for this premise.
Right. But the movie was limited. Did you see, though, when they went to kidnap her? There were, like, more people trying to stop it than there were kidnapping her. And there was a couple dudes that were, like, dual-fisting fucking rods. And I was like, that didn't stop the guys? Because the guys didn't even have, like, guns out or anything. It was like... Those guys were literally didn't even try to stop it. They were just like that, and then they just drove off. And I was like, and they chased after him, and I was like,
they were like human manimals.
Yeah, they were like haunted house dudes. Were like, you can't touch the people. It was like they were just like, I was like, huh.
So, before we do our ratings, I'd like to introduce a new segment.
Whoa!
That I hope becomes a huge hit.
Oh my gosh!
We'll find out.
You're like Nerd News. You're like bringing it back. Nerd Watches.
This segment is called Better with Tig. And my question to you is, would this movie have been better with Thomas Ian Griffith?
I feel like I created this segment. Yeah, of course. Well, I don't think any movie's ever going to be worse with him.
Well, prove it. We'll put your money where your mouth is. We'll find out.
What? I'll hire him to...
Who do you think he should have played?
Bad guy.
Yeah, me too.
For sure. Like, he could have done the good guy, but I think Thomerson is such a great... I think he's the one thing in this movie that I actually give a shit about. That sounds horrible. But, like, that was keeping me interested for the most part, besides the action and stuff. I didn't dislike the woman in this. She was fine, but she was
I did want to give her her shout.
She was just kind of there.
Yeah, she didn't have much...
Because they didn't really give her anything to do. I mean, it's not like...
There was a tiny little bit of her character wanted, like, the neighborhood to become a better place.
That's not really a thing. It's just kind of
it's such a generic, like, base level.
Because it's like... It's also weird because, like, in the credits, the police officer they show gets more screen time in that than he did in the film.
Yeah.
Because, like, they show him... I thought he was going to be a big part of the film, but he, like... Isn't that one scene where he gives, like, a soundbite, and then he fucking nopes out of the film. You, like, never see him again. I expected her to go to him and be like, hey, we need help with the, gang or something. And, like, it just fucking... It was like, why was this guy even in the movie again? It was weird. I guess it's just they probably, like, got done with the film, and then they were like, oh, shit, this movie's, like, 2 minutes long.
Right.
We gotta fucking pad this shit. But, yeah, him as the bad guy, and I'm not trying to, like... crap on either of the bad guys in this, but, like, they killed off the one guy, and he was also, like, small as shit, so, like, what's he gonna do unless he had, like, big weapons like Dollman? And the main guy was, like, he got fucked up, like, earlier in the film, and he's also, like, a sympathetic kind of character because he acts nice towards the main girl. So it's like, okay, you needed somebody that was, like, pulling the strings above him, like Thomas Ian Griffith has, like, the main guy.
I also think he could have played, like, the scumbag at the beginning.
Yeah.
But it might have been too scary.
It just would have been too short.
Not worthy of Tig's talents.
Right, exactly. That guy that played him was perfect.
Yeah. All right. We'll tune in next week, and we'll see if the streak continues of Better with Tig.
Better with Tig. I think I would always say yes. I can't think of a single film where he would be worse in.
Like,
or it would be worse and not him. He's like, I'm worse in this than I was when I wasn't in it.
So what's your rating for Dollman?
I don't know, man. I'm trying to think, because it's definitely not like you said, like you were talking about that earlier where you were like, you wouldn't really you're on the fence about recommending it, but I feel like I'm the same way because it's one of those deals where it's like it's like 50% of this movie is recommendable, but 50% of it is definitely not. Yeah. Like, I feel like SpacePrecinct was more recommendable than this movie. Only because, and I hate to even say that because I didn't dislike it. It's like going back and thinking about it, I wasn't like, man, this movie pissed me off or anything. But it's just like there wasn't enough of the good stuff to fuck it. Like the ratio was off. Like there was too much flour, not enough sugar to make the cake for this. It was like you would bite into it and it would either be awesome or it'd be like, dude, this is fucking gross.
Yeah. I think if this movie was 2 hours, I would say no. But the fact that it's like barely over an hour long, I would say yes.
Yeah.
So it's a 7.95 for me, but like a low 7.95.
Yeah.
You made it, Dollman.
Yeah, whatever like the half of 9.95 is what I'll probably do, like a 4.95 or a 5.95. But like with a possible recommendation, maybe. I mean, like the good scenes in this are like the action, but they're like kind of half the film.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It sucks because like if they just cut out like a lot of the scenes where he's literally not doing anything and there's like nothing happening, then this would be like definitely a higher rating for me. But as it stands, it's like a movie can piss me off. A movie can like, I can hate it, but I can still say it's entertaining. Like Steven Seagal, I'm not a huge fan of him like, you know, like...
What? Really?
But...
Hot take.
Like when we watched On Deadly Ground, that was probably one of my favorite films we've ever watched because it was funny as fuck because how stupid it was.
It was so out of control.
But it was entertaining because it was so stupid. It was literally just a guy sucking himself off for like the whole time.
Ultimate vanity project.
Yeah, right. So it was like...
That failed.
I was like, I cannot believe how funny this is. Just because of what is happening and it's 100% serious. I'd rather watch something like that where I'm not like, you know, I don't love the subject, but like that's funny, than something like this where I like everything about it except like 50% of it's just... Like nothing's worse than when a movie's boring.
Yeah, maybe we could sum it up as saying like something like On Deadly Ground is like a great bad movie.
Yeah.
And this is like an almost good movie.
Yeah.
So there's a big difference.
This is a bad, good movie.
Yeah.
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 Sadly.
All right.
It makes me sad to even say that though, because I don't know, maybe the other film would be good, the Dollman versus...
Yeah, I have hope that would be highly entertaining. I'll have to watch it someday.
Just because, yeah, like, I mean, you have to expect that maybe they do like a half and half with like the demonic toys and Dollman being in it. So Dollman's good himself, and I'm assuming, you know, the demonic toys would be pretty... I mean, they're from all straight up horror things, so I would assume it would be like, you know...
The toys, they are demonic.
Right. So...
Well, what's on tap for next episode?
Oh, okay. Well... I don't know why I'm looking at this. I don't have it written down. So... trying to think how to get into this.
I'm like, oh.
So a lot of times, you know, we've talked about it, and there's a man out there, he's like a visionary, and he's written a bunch of awesome things. And we, at least one point, you were a huge fan of him. And maybe you are still now. But this man has written many great reviews, and one is for the movie we're about to watch next week, Blade 2.
I was like, where are you going with
He's
this?
a blood-chinned fang splitter.
So you're going to read the full review on the air next episode, right? That's your promise.
I can.
And then you'll say it's in your own words.
Yeah! I was like, this is written by Matt. He wholeheartedly believes this. It's like, me and Matt are brothers. His mother told me so. So, Blade 2, right. And of course, Blade 1.
Alright.
I don't know why I said of course.
Should I watch Blade 2 first?
No, watch Blade 1 first. I mean, you can watch them, I guess, whatever order you want to. But, like...
Alright.
You know what's funny is I've never watched Blade Trinity, and this is like Spider-Man 3, where like I have watched Spider-Man 3, but like I wasn't a huge fan of it. But Blade Trinity, I've heard, is just so bad that it's not even worth
I can't believe
fucking
I've
with.
seen that and you haven't. That's weird.
What, Blade Trinity? I have it on DVD. I just have always...
You might be better off never seeing it.
Right, because I really liked the first two, so that's why I'm kind of interested in going back and watching this, because, like, I know you're, like, picking new stuff, but, like, this year I've kind of been going and like, doing the revisit to see, are these as good as I thought? You know, like, kind of like with Speed Racer, where I was like, the show maybe not, but the movies I thought still held up. But, like, and things with Spider-Man and stuff, but we'll see. I mean, hopefully... Have you seen Blade 1 and 2 before? Mm-hmm. Nice. Yeah, I mean, I at the time when they came out, and a little bit after that when I watched them again, I liked them. I just haven't, like, gone back and watched them, and, like... I can't... This is getting into the same territory with, like, Vampire Hunter D and all these films where, like, I saw these kind of when they came out and then just haven't seen them in so many years that I'm like, do these hold up? Or is this, like... I mean, there's got to be a reason why they, you know, people praised them back in the day, at least hope. This was actually, I think, kind of back in the era when I was still, like, you know, interested in the stuff they were doing at Marvel, because they were doing these films for film's sake and stuff. So it was like Blade. I like Blade, the character and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, hopefully we'll go back and it'll be interesting. And I really like Wesley Snipes. And I was looking at the cast and I was shocked. I was like, oh my God, Norman Reedus is in these. And so is Chris Christopherson.
Yeah.
Christmas Goose. Yeah, he plays Whistler. I think he plays his, like, mentor or whatever in both the movies. Right. Yeah, I'm sure there's a bunch of other people will show up too. I know Ron Perlman, I think, is in the sequel. Of course he is, because Guillermo del Toro directed that one. I don't know who directed the first one, though.
Nobody knows. I don't know either.
But I remember...
Stephen Norrington.
I think this is going to be like one...
Director of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Oh, Jesus. But, like, I think this is going to be one of those situations where, like, maybe when we watch the first one, we'll be like how it was with Spider-Man 1, where we're like, you know, it's good, but, like, the sequel is way better. And I think that might be how it is. Because that's kind of, I think, how we felt about Hellboy and Hellboy 2, right? Where it's like the sequel was, like, there was just so much money. I think it's also because they probably will have more money. So, we'll see, though. I'm hoping for good things. I'm hoping that we... I mean... I guess it's no skin off my fangs if they both suck. But I'm hoping that we, you know, it's not one of those things. And we go back and I'm like, oh, geez, I'm sorry that I picked these. But
I'd say that's doubtful.
Yeah.
But we'll find out. It's
doubtful that, I mean, it's definitely probably will be no Dragon Ball week, but...
I'm just going to watch Blade 3 twice.
You watch Blade 6? Dragon Ball, the only episode where we didn't give a fucking rating. I was so depressed.
You wanted to do a tribute, and you made us watch the worst thing on the show.
Should have worn a fucking rope necktie. Yeah, so that's this week. I'm like, that's Cop Week. And then we're going into Blade Week.
Snipes Week.
Yeah, Snipes Week.
Cool. All right, then.
Oh, I had to give a little stretch. And a band. Cool. So, I guess we'll see everybody next time on the Buddy Shots podcast.
Bye.
Peace.
What time is it? Oh, I have no idea where Mike is. He's never this late. But, you know, the show must go on. I've got deadlines to hit, so I'm going to go solo this week. So, welcome to Buddy Shots. This is the podcast...
Matt, hey, Matt, I'm down here. Hey, Matt.
What is that?
Come on, you gotta look at me. I'm down here. Matt.
Whoa!
Matt, you gotta help me, man. I can't do the podcast like this. Help me.
Okay, don't panic. We'll figure this out. We'll figure something out.
Matt,
just gotta think.
Here, man. I can't stay like this forever. Please.
I'll never tell. Will you? I'll never...
I guess you are supposed to look at the camera. It just was funny for you to be like... There's no... wait.
Did I fuck up?
It's a shrinking circle. Little does Matt know, this podcast is no fucking collaboration. It's a damn competition. I don't have the serum, so I'm like... Why would I just close the door and look at it? People totally do that normal.
You get more comments.
It's like that
Such
one,
profanity.
It's that one thing in the fucking movie where like fucking this is the fucking guy is fucking it's like
It's out of control.
There you are. Little does Matt know, this podcast is not a collaboration. It's a competition. Okay, let's do it. Just keep rolling. Finally, it's my time. Matt, okay, what the fuck am I talking about? I'm going off script here.
You're like, Matt.
When I breathe like that, it's like, am I coming out taking a shit? I'm like, I just took a huge shit.
Where is Mike? He's never this late, but, you know, I've got a deadline to hit, so... What?
It's like, did you even call me? It's like the funniest thing ever. I've got a deadline to hit, so fuck him.
Whoa! Alright, now we just gotta do...
I have a deadline to hit, and I'm already recording. Fuck him.
It's like... I'm upset for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm over it.
Also,
like enough or should I...
Also, if you fucking planned this, why would you even be upset? You're the only one here.
Them to produce a single sound.
Gets me every time.
Fucking
Where's the real?
A real mummy sounds like. That's the voice of Nessiamun, an Egyptian priest who lived 3,000 years ago.
What were they thinking?
That's like me whenever like somebody suggests something I don't like. I'm like, eh. I'm pretty sure that was like a deposit shot or something. Or it was real.
This is real.
I don't care.
That time, Bill Simmons, do you know who he is? He was a writer on ESPN.
I don't know who he is. Do you know who he is?
I don't know.
But he's a
On his
writer on
podcast.
ESPN.
Yeah, he has a podcast, and he did ads. He did an ad for Airbnb, where they like trashed how hotels are crappy,
Right.
Airbnb. And in the same episode, he did a ad for hotels, trashing how crappy Airbnb is. Like, he had no shame.
9.95. Emotion is feeling so high. 9.95. In overdrive. Put your body in overdrive. 9.95.